After years of patiently waiting, South Park fans finally have a new game announced. It is going to be called South Park Snow Day, developed by Question Games, a few games they've made over the years. Magic Circle, The Blackout Club, to be honest, I've never heard of those games. Published by THQ Nordic. It is a 3D co-op multiplayer game. And the 3D feels a lot like the original South Park game, going all the way back to the N64 in 1998. I was a kid back then. I was a South Park fan, and so obviously I picked up and played the original South Park game when I was just a young lad. And I guess there's a lot of nostalgia there for me. I know it's not a great game, but I still enjoyed the original South Park 3D game from back in the day. So I watched the trailer for Snow Day, and I'll link it below in the description section. There's really not much to it. It's Cartman in his wizard outfit, just like in Stick of Truth. And he talks about how it's one of the most magical days of the year for a child because it's Snow Day. But it's almost always snowy in South Park. But I guess it was like this epic blizzard that was so bad that it shut down the school and businesses. And now I guess all the kids at South Park are running around doing what they do in South Park. The characters that will be featured include the main characters, Cartman, Stan, Kyle, Kenny. I'm sure the other characters from South Park will be featured as well. But you'll be playing as the new kid. I don't know if this is the same new kid as Stick of Truth and Fractured Butthole. Probably not. But it is 4 players, so it will be a 3D co-op. And the game is definitely not going to be a sequel to Stick of Truth or Fractured Butthole. It has probably nothing to do with those two games, except for it just happens to be in the same South Park universe. And even though the new kid is mentioned by Cartman, I just think that there's a few reasons why that is a different new kid or your own new kid. For one thing, it's 2 different studios, 2 different publishers. Stick of Truth.
Hey, you're that popular kid.
Yes, I am the popular kid. But anyways, the new kid of Stick of Truth and Fractured Butthole was one and the same. Stick of Truth was developed by Obsidian. Fractured Butthole by Ubisoft San Francisco, both published under Ubisoft, as well as South Park Studios. Stick of Truth came out in 2014. Fractured Butthole in 2017. So right there, it's a completely different studio, completely different publisher, because South Park Snow Day is being done by Question Games under THQ Nordic. And yeah, I realize there's a phone game, Phone Destroyer. I'm not really going to talk about it because I never played it. So this huge difference is, I don't know, kind of a turnoff for me. I mean, for one thing, I think that they nailed the look and feel of South Park in Stick of Truth as well as Fractured Butthole. I get it. Different video games, right? And different styles. And it doesn't have to be exactly the same game in South Park Snow Day as Stick of Truth and Fractured Butthole. Those 2 games, even though they're connected, there is some differences between Stick of Truth and Fractured Butthole. But at the same time, I think a lot of us South Park fans were really wanting a 3rd game in that installment. We wanted a trilogy. But as of right now, I don't think we're getting one because of the fact that South Park Studios is clearly working with THQ Nordic, not with Ubisoft on this one. And the story doesn't really seem to be there. I mean, I get it. It was just a teaser trailer. There might be more to it. There was something mentioned about saving the world in Snow Day. So maybe there's like a loose story, but maybe it's not as intricate as Stick of Truth or Fractured Butthole. It just seems like a simple like 4-player co-op and probably online, probably like fighting against other teams. Some people were comparing it to Plants vs. Zombies. That could be a possibility. And my concern is with this being like multiplayer online that it may involve the typical online microtransactions that we've come to expect. A unique currency you can purchase, a form of battle pass, purchasable in-game item shop, subscription fees, all that jazz. on top of having to drop $70 US to buy South Park Snow Day, because it will be available on current gen, PS5, Xbox Series, as well as PC. So, yeah,
Over here.
I just feel like, no, Al Gore, I'm not going over there. I'm super serial. No, it's your butt. Anyways, so, yeah, I want the game to be good, okay? Because I am a huge South Park fan. I've been one for many years. And I have numerous seasons on DVD. So, I want the game to be good. And it's totally fine for it to be different than what we got with Stick of Truth, as well as Fractured Butthole. Now, for the record, I'm okay with there being different types of games that are made in the South Park universe, as long as they're good. And South Park Studios is clearly involved, once again, with this game, South Park Snow Day, just like they were with Stick of Truth as well as Fractured Butthole. So I'm sure Matt and Trey will have involvement, or they'll have say over the story and whatnot. But I don't know. I just have a bad feeling that South Park Snow Day could end up being a cash grab, and there may very well be like a whole bunch of different types of microtransactions added to it. I hope that's not the case, but that's just sadly something we all have come to expect from our AAA publishers whenever it's an online multiplayer game. That's just what it comes down to, really, is they'll tack on a base price tag. They'll have different editions, and then they'll have other ways in the game to try and monetize it. And that's my concern with South Park Snow Day. I just don't think that every single game out there has to be an online multiplayer game in order to be good or enjoyable. I just don't see how this is going to pan out. And once again, I could be totally wrong. It may be a great game. I hope it is. But at the moment, with what little interest and knowledge I have regarding South Park Snow Day, I just don't really care for it. But I mean, before the game comes out, maybe we'll find out more about it. Maybe we'll see some actual gameplay, because all we got was a cutscene, and it may turn out to be good. So I will choose to reserve judgment on South Park Snow Day until the game comes out. But at the moment, I'm not exactly excited about it. I would have much preferred a long-awaited third game to Stick of Truth as well as Fractured Butthole. But the sad reality is, I'm guessing something must have happened between Ubisoft and South Park Studios, which has caused South Park Studios to go with THQ Nordic in question instead. So, yeah, it doesn't look like we're getting the South Park game that a lot of us were hoping for, waiting patiently for, 6+ years after Fractured Butthole came out. But we are getting a new South Park game. Take that with what you will. I just hope it doesn't suck. Right, Matt and Trey? Hopefully Snow Day will turn out to be good, and maybe, just maybe, somewhere down the road, South Park Studios will team up with Ubisoft once again to give us a long-awaited third game to Stick of Truth and Fractured Butthole. At least I hope one day we get a third game in this franchise, because I really did enjoy playing South Park Stick of Truth as well as Fractured Butthole. Once again, Snow Day is coming 2024, unless it gets delayed, to current gen, PS5, Xbox Series XS, as well as PC. I think somebody mentioned Switch as well. I don't know if that's the case, but I hope that it turns out to be good. Obviously, it's going to be different than Stick of Truth and Fractured Butthole, but that doesn't necessarily mean it'll be bad. It's just that I think a lot of us were kind of hoping for like I said, a sequel to Stick of Truth as well as Fractured Butthole, but that's not what we're getting. Hopefully, whatever we end up getting with Snow Day turns out to be good, at least decent, and not another microtransaction monetized cash grab, which is what I'm concerned it may end up being. But then again, Matt and Trey, along with South Park Studios, is involved with Question Games and THQ when it comes to South Park Snow Day, so maybe it'll turn out to be okay. Here's hoping. Your thoughts, views, and opinions regarding South Park Snow Day, welcome, as always, below in the comments section.